I know you guys hate fighting Chaos, but since the Tyranids have 2 boss bar bosses, what would theoretically be a second Chaos boss bar boss? I don't know. I don't know where the term boss bar boss comes from, but what they are referring to Terminus enemies. My money's on a Terminator Sorcerer. Ooh, that does look cool. Okay, so I have seen some discussion about how we fight, you know, the lesser sorcerers, and how a higher tier sorcerer could be an appropriate Terminus fight. And I also saw a mod. I also saw a mod with Terminators being a little bit bigger, which I assume is more lore accurate. And I think it's very cool to see how intimidating larger Terminators are, especially on the battlefield. A Terminator Sorcerer for the second Terminus fight for Chaos does sound interesting. I'm just curious on how it will, you know, it will work within the power scaling of the game. I'm not too sure that's very important, you know. We are just 3 Marines taking out waves and waves of Chaos and Tyranids. So that, you know, if we just happen to, you know, fight a sorcerer that should be stronger than us, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And a Terminator Sorcerer should be, you know, should be larger than the lesser sorcerers we see. That would be kind of cool. I would actually kind of enjoy fighting a Terminator Sorcerer. I do have a Librarian mini for a tabletop, and that Librarian also has Terminator armor. And I am aware that Librarians, there's normally only like 1 or maybe even 2 Librarians per chapter, you know, per, you know, basically Space Marine chapter. I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate or not. That is what basically I gathered from comments. It is always fun learning about lore in comments. I know I'm not the best with the lore, but it is still, regardless, very fun learning about, you know, the intricacies of the armies in this universe. So, a Terminator Sorcerer. Is it basically equal to a Hellbrute, you know what I mean? Or is it a step above a Hellbrute? Regardless, we definitely do need a second Terminus enemy for Chaos. Hellbrutes are fun, but they can be a little bit annoying, especially in certain, you know, in certain areas of the map. If you're fighting a Hellbrute in a small room, you're gonna be in for a really bad time. Hellbrutes are best fought in big open areas, so you can basically roll out of their area of effect smashes. In a small room, you're gonna get hit by those smashes 100% of the time. It just denies so much ground. But a Terminator Sorcerer does sound interesting. Now, the lesser sorcerers we have, I never really had a good look at them, but considering that the Terminators we fight already are kind of smaller than what they should be, I'm curious if the lesser sorcerers that we fight already have Terminator armor. But if they don't, a Terminator Sorcerer that's actually bigger than what we see in Terminators in the game, that would be kind of sweet. I would definitely enjoy that. I imagine it would be a tough fight. The Terminator Sorcerer would be the first choice for a more humanid Terminus enemy, combining the 2 existing extremist enemy types. Yeah, I mean, that is essentially, yeah, that's true. We are essentially just combining 2 extremists into, you know, 1 Terminus enemy. Yeah, honestly, I can see that working. I could also see them going bigger with something like a Malar Fiend or Vortex Beast. Now, I'm not too familiar with what a Malar Fiend is. I have seen pictures of a Vortex Beast, and it is my impression that a Vortex Beast could be too powerful. But that's interesting. I guess I could check out what a Malar Fiend would look like, but regardless, I do think, yeah, combining the 2 extremist types is still a pretty reliable way of getting a new Terminus. But like, yeah, would it be too familiar? Like, would it feel like a Terminus Sorcerer would be, you know, too same to the things we've been fighting? If the Vortex Beast is unique and the Malar Fiend is unique, I can see them also going for that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, I just like fighting Terminators. I just want to fight a larger Terminator. That would be kind of sick. Coolest options, in my opinion, as a Thousand Suns player: Mutolith Vortex Beast, Sorcerer on Disc, Malar Fiend, Forge Fiend, Demon Prince, more likely as a cinematic boss, the new robot automata that are rumored to be coming with the codex, similar to 30k Castellax Akia? Holy cow, let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. So the Demon Prince. I really don't think we're gonna get any demons in this game. I heard there's some controversy going on with demons in the tabletop game. Not too sure what's going on with that. But I think demons are just at the point where they're just a little bit higher tier than what we are expecting in the game. That would be interesting. See, a lot of people are guessing Necrons for Space Marine 3, and I think that's possible. But you know, I like how we have Chaos and Tyranids in this one. I do think we could see some demons in Space Marine 3. I feel like Space Marine 3 could be like the end game to Titus's story. That's going to be very interesting. Sorcerer on a disc. Let's not. Let's not. No more discs, please. Yeah, the Vortex Beast is something I should cover one day. I just heard the Vortex Beast is just a little bit too strong for what our Space Marines could handle. But again, yeah, our Space Marines handle very strong things all the time, so it might not be that big of a deal. Hate fighting chaos. I'm urging for a purging at all times. I'm urging for a purging. Holy cow, dude. I have not heard that saying before, and that is something I'm going to repeat. That is sick. For real, it's more fun to fight the 1,000 Suns than the Tyranids, and that's a hill I'll die for the Emperor on. Holy cow, that is a hot take. Honestly, though, during the Spore Mine apocalypse, I did find the 1,000 Suns a tad bit more fun to fight. Honestly, the more you get used to fighting the 1,000 Suns, the more fun you will have. Like, fighting Terminators is more fun than fighting any other extremists in the game. I do agree with that. Honestly, sorcerers aren't that big of a deal to deal with. You just throw a crack grenade at them or like a melt-a-bomb and you should get them out. The things about 1,000 Suns that make people mad is basically just a range spam and the amount of snipers they have. There's a lot. The disc shamans. There's a fair amount of annoying things that fighting chaos comes with. But I do agree that I think I have more fun fighting Terminators than anything else in the game. So maybe they have something of a point here, even though it does sound like a hot take. I don't know. That's interesting. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about fighting chaos, if you're actually having fun with them or not. I know we talk about chaos quite a bit, but you know, maybe our opinions changed on that one. I feel like the problem with making more chaos bosses is the fact that for the 1,000 Suns specifically, there's really nothing we could kill. And more the average 1,000 Suns a sorcerer, and look at all the stuff he was able to do. Amora is the average 1,000 Suns sorcerer. So, wait, hold on. Is this person saying Amora is like a mid-tier sorcerer for 1,000 Suns? And we fight lesser sorcerers all the time? I don't know. That's interesting. Let me know if you guys have any idea of what Amura's hierarchy is with sorcerers. He does say average 1,000 Suns sorcerer, so I don't know. That is honestly interesting, though, that the average 1,000 Suns sorcerer is powerful enough to be the main antagonist in Space Marine 2. That's interesting. Terminator sorcerers would have to be lesser sorcerers, and even then, it's just a sorcerer with the health of a Scarab Cultist Terminator. I would feel deflated if they added a Terminator sorcerer in the game, but they made it a lesser Terminator sorcerer. That would feel a little unworthy of a Terminus enemy for Chaos. You know what? Also, now that it comes to mind, I don't really think the devs talked about adding a new Terminus. No, they talk about adding a new enemy like all the time. And we're technically going to get a new enemy. I think they're referring to Trigun. But yeah, we haven't heard much about them adding a second Terminus Chaos enemy. I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye out for what they say about that. If they add a Terminator sorcerer, they don't have to be like the highest tier sorcerer, you know, but they have to be stronger than a lesser sorcerer, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, that is interesting though. The Terminator sorcerer being the Terminus enemy for Chaos could feel a bit too similar to other things, but if what this person is saying is true, that there's not many 1,000 Suns enemies that feel appropriate for, you know, operations, then we might not have that many options.